Good morning. You are listening to First Title National Real Estate Radio Show. I'm your host, Doug Dennison, and we are broadcasting from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city at WFOY 1240 AM studios. Through the power of the Internet, this program is being streamed worldwide on 1240news.com. The show will also be archived on FirstTitleServices.com and TitleCompany.com. First Title and Escrow are a leading title company, and they are the sponsors of this program. Additionally, this show will be posted on YouTube.com. Our radio show mission statement to provide an educational experience for listeners in a promotional format for real estate sales across the country. We're going to be talking about real estate, different real estate markets across the country. We get a lot of topics today. I've got a couple of great guests that will be calling in a little bit later. A little update one more time that the station here at WFOY has now an FM station. It is 102.3. So you might want to hook on that. Sometimes a little north and south of St. Augustine, the transmission isn't as clear. So now with 102.3 FM, there's a bigger range, both south and north and west of us, of course. Again, St. Augustine is the nation's oldest city, and very proud to be broadcasting from here and have broadcast from this station for more than 2 years, 3 years just about, and it's been wonderful. They're great people here. A couple of things I'm looking at. I always like to try to give you some updates from around the world in regards to news items, interest about real estate, interest about mortgages. I always like to go on dsnews.com. They are my go-to place to get daily input as far as what's happening. You can go on dsnews.com. There's a thing called the Daily Dose, and you can sign up. It's a free email that they send out once a day, Monday through Friday. They do an excellent job on it. It's basically the top stories for anybody that wants to be involved in real estate, mortgages, the default servicing part of our business, which is REO, real estate owned, foreclosures, that kind of thing. So anyway, I've got a from DS News. The title is "First-Time Buyers Have Smaller Budget Interest in Foreclosures." This is written by Esther Cho on July 5th. She says first-time home buyers tend to work with smaller budgets compared to repeat buyers, which increases the incentive to buy a foreclosure, according to a blog from doorsteps.com. This is a website that provides information to help potential home buyers. Citing a survey from the National Association of Realtors, the website noted 65% of first-time buyers are open to the idea of buying a foreclosure. All right, we've got a call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Doug Dennison. Jim Mooney, how are you?
Well, my friend, I have not talked to you in a while, and for our listening audience, tell us again who you are, where you work, and your company, please.
Jim Mooney, working out of the fabulous Florida Keys and working for a boutique little real estate office known as Moorings Realty in Alamorada.
Well, you have been on the show before. You're my go-to guy in regards to the Florida Keys. You do commercial, you do residential, you cover a lot of the Keys. Tell us, first of all, how did you get into real estate, Jim?
Transition type of thing through life. Went from buying real estate to end up having to sell real estate for a living, which has turned out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I've always liked real estate, so it was a pretty easy transition for me. And having been involved in the political world for a while, the land development regulations in the Keys are very tough and difficult to understand, so I thought, well, I'll put my little bit of knowledge that I have left to work and see if I can help buyers find something that meets all their goals and criteria and accomplishes a common goal of success.
Well, it is rather difficult because I've been involved. I've sold some properties down there many years ago. And tell me what TDAs, TDRs, what is it?
TDRs, yeah.
TDRs.
Another part of our life here.
Explain that to our listening audience, please.
TDR, transferable development rights.
Okay.
And basically, what that says is that we have been told by the state of Florida, starting way back in the 70s and early 80s, that we cannot continue to grow at a pace that we were on. So they said no more growth, basically.
Okay.
So in the entire county, we have roughly 200 units per year allowed. So that's 200 units in 120 miles. Alamorada, in particular, 28 units a year maximum. Have 7 of those are affordable housing units, so we're workforce housing.
Okay.
So what you do is you have an existing motel, and you want to build a motel somewhere. You've got to buy an old motel, knock it down, and transfer those rights in theory. Same thing apply for a house. And then of course, the rules and regulations after that are very restrictive as to where they can go to receiver sites and sender sites. And, that's where I think my knowledge of the system comes into play, and it's worked out pretty well for myself and my customers.
Well, again, I know the Florida Keys. I love the Florida Keys and go down there a couple of times a year. But for our listening audience, which is national and, to be honest, international, it was funny. Jim was doing a broadcast a couple of weeks ago, and one of the people that were on the show, sends me an email and says, believe it or not, Doug, after I got done the show, somebody from Switzerland emailed me and said I did a great job. So, in this internet world, you never know who's listening. But for our listeners, tell us a little bit about the Florida Keys. It is just a unique place. It's so beautiful, and I don't want to do the promotion. You do it for me.
Well, it's pretty easy to promote, actually. I mean, we're the Caribbean, yet staying stateside. Roughly the Florida Keys are roughly 120 miles long, made up of 52, 54 bridges, hundreds of islands, all connected via the bridge system. Our fresh water comes in from the mainland. Our electricity comes in from the mainland. But we have crystal blue waters. We have fishing that's as good as anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, our lifestyle is a pretty laid-back lifestyle. As you know, after these number of years we've been working together and talking to each other, it's a place where people come to decompress. And they go, wow, I like your lifestyle down here. And that's what it's all about. Lifestyle and water sports activities that's the name of the game in the Florida Keys. Absolutely spectacular. It's stem to stern. It's just beautiful.
Well, I'm thinking, my guess is that people come down there for a vacation and say, you know what, I want this 365 days a year. So then they start getting into buying a house, perhaps buying a business, perhaps building something, and that's where you come in to try to assist them in that regards.
Yeah. I mean, buying a property in the Florida Keys is it's certainly not an inexpensive challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You can get some smaller condos that are still relatively affordable, for a lot of people. But the reality of it is over the last 7 months, our average sale price in the Florida Keys is pushing $600,000 a unit.
Wow.
I mean, our market, right now, our market's very difficult because we just are running out of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
People have discovered the Florida Keys. I think that via the economy and the hiccups that are around the world and, some of the issues that people face in traveling, they end up saying, wow, I can stay right here at home and have everything I'm looking for with quality schools and quality medical and quality life safety departments and quality transportation, and then of course incredible cuisine and incredible recreation. So we're booming right now, and it's amazing. It's almost as if everybody in the world's discovered us all of a sudden. We've been here for a long time, but now it's nuts.
Well, it is a wonderful place to go to and to live and to play. Absolutely. And I know you're a big fisherman, and that's part of the lifestyle that you get out and if you're still working, you do your work, but you try to save a little time before work or after work, and even
fish every afternoon.
I'm going to say that maybe a lot of your business is repeat business, and that the clients that you do a great job with become your friends. They live 5-10 miles from you, and all of a sudden you're seeing them at a restaurant, or you go together on a boat. Is that the kind of lifestyle that's down there?
You describe it to a T, Doug. Everybody that I've sold to have become friends, and you say 10 miles for us. When your island's 5 miles long and a half a mile wide on average, driving 10 miles to go somewhere is nothing.
Yep.
We're just used to that kind of mileage, so it sounds like a long ways, but in fact, our traffic jam usually consists of only doing 40 instead of 45. We hardly ever get down to 0, unless a big boat's coming through a bridge. But everybody becomes friends, and we fish, and it's an afternoon boat ride. Hey, let's have a cocktail. How about an appetizer? Hey, you want to go throw in a bonefish for an hour? So, with the access, you don't have to live on the water in the Florida Keys to enjoy the water.
Okay.
It's certainly a perk, but I always remind people that, listen, you live on an island, you are on the water. You can throw a rock east 4 times and hit the water, and west 4 times and hit the water. So don't be discouraged if the price ranges for direct open water is out of your reach. No worries. There's beautiful homes inland. Beautiful. Lots of landscaping, gorgeous trees. We're very lush, as you well know.
Yes.
I mean, right now I'm sitting here in front of my office looking at Royal Poincianas in full bloom, and it's gorgeous sitting here just looking across the street at the properties and the restaurants and stuff and the art galleries, and it's a wonderful place. You always a quick ride to Key West for a little fun in a big city.
Yep.
Oh, big city Key West.
Well,
that's going that way. It is going north, in my opinion. No traffic heading that way.
Tell me, for perspective, how far is it from you to Key West, and how far is it from you to Miami?
Actually, I am sitting right in the middle. I am 80 miles north of Key West and 80 miles south of Miami International Airport.
Wow.
So for people wanting to visit the Florida Keys, Miami International or Fort Lauderdale International, easy ride to the Keys, and now Southwest Airlines is flying into Key West. That's opened up a whole new avenue for travelers. I mean, that's really broadened the spectrum for travelers into the Florida Keys. They can fly into Key West and then drive north. And obviously, a lot of locals now are heading to Key West to fly out of because it's just a pretty ride.
I had no idea. When did that happen?
It just happened. It happened basically.
Okay.
They got full-blown into the Keys early March, I believe it was. And, obviously limited routes still, but that's a major carrier. And, of course, there are other major carriers down there as well. But that's been a perk for a lot of people. And it's nice. All my friends are flying out of Key West now whenever we can. Just we don't have traffic jams. You don't have to worry about getting stuck.
And
Small airport and,
Miami Airport, you can have a traffic jam.
You can. It's a big city, but that's all right. I mean, realistically, Miami International to the Florida Keys, to my house, which is roughly, Upper Matacumbe, right dead in the middle of the Florida Keys, hour and a half.
Okay.
Easy drive. Certainly not a bad drive, but, if I can drive an hour south, what the heck? I look at the little key deers and get on the big pine key and see the little baby deers that are about as big as a dog, and, well, that's a big old deer.
Key West.
Everything's good down here, Doug. We miss you, man.
Key West deer. You talked a little bit about the lifestyle. Obviously, fishing is great. Bone fishing is big in your area. I believe.
Bone fishing is huge. It's we took a hit a few years ago with that freeze that hit
Okay.
South Florida.
Okay.
But the fish have finally started to make the comeback. And, you know, it's not the first time it's got cold in South Florida. It just doesn't happen about every 25 years, that's all. So those fish were not prepared for it, but the next round will be a little more prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the genetic coding always works. Fishing's been very good, though. I have not bone fished in a few months, but my friends are showing me pictures on Facebook every day, and they're
really?
back. I said, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate that. But fishing in general has been very good this year. We've had a little bit of breeze this summer.
Okay.
But, you know, that just makes for a little tougher ride out. Once you get offshore, you're all right. Just getting there in the shallows is a little bumpy, but everything's been good. Dolphin fishing's been great. Tarpon fishing was very good this year.
Okay.
The crazy tarpon fishermen, I call them, all my buddies, they're maniacal. Sunrise and sunset all day fishing for those big old monsters.
Well, President...
I'm jealous, of course. You know that.
Yes, I know that. President Bush kind of, opened the eyes to the world about bone fishing, I think, down in the Keys.
Oh, yeah, he definitely didn't. He didn't hurt anything. I mean, he was an avid fisherman, as well as many presidents throughout the years. My stepfather fished Harry Truman and
wow.
Bonefish back in the 50s, and J. Edgar Hoover, and so Washington D.C. is not unaware of the Florida Keys. Trust me.
And I think
they sneak in here a lot. And nobody knows it. All the law centers and stuff because they like to come here and relax.
yes,
As do a lot of stars that nobody. That's the beauty of the Florida Keys. Regardless of who you are and your status, all we really care about is, are you a nice guy and do you want to have fun
yes,
having a nice dinner and going fishing or going out in the boat, watching the sunset. And it seems to be that everybody comes here for that one reason, laid-back lifestyle.
You talked about the workforce and that new building is entailed in that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's mandated, obviously, by the state. You know, I mean, obviously, with you heard the prices, everything almost $600,000 in the last month.
Yep.
Average sale price, and everything's selling. For the last year, we've yet to go under 90% of asking price on a closed sale. So, obviously, it's becoming a seller's market again rather rapidly. And, with that said, when the workforce itself, and I grew up in the Florida Keys, so I clearly come from a workforce family.
Yep.
You know, latchkey kids were long before that. We were just kids who got left on an island down in a house on the beach. There was no latches because there was nobody here.
I got it.
But, I was here 55 years. And, there's a need for housing. There's some great projects going along and coming up throughout the Keys that makes it affordable for a family that has good jobs, but, is still pressed. We don't want people to be so pressed they can't live here because we need a sense of community, and workforce housing provides that sense of community. It's wonderful to have lots of wealthy people that spend lots of money for our businesses, and they do keep the world going around in Florida Keys, like any tourist destination. But with that said, we need somebody to also work with them and help them, provide them with their needs. and our workforce housing are beautiful. They're nice Key West style, tin roofs, and very, very chic looking, but very affordable. And that's the most important thing. It's a necessary thing of life in the Florida Keys. And again, like every tourist area in the country, they all face a need for workforce housing.
Yes.
And so you can't hide it. You don't stick your head in the sand. You deal with it, and you make it happen. And that's what we're doing. And we're proud of it. I mean, we're proud of what we do.
You have so many great restaurants and
oh boy,
motels and hotels. You've got to staff them, and then you've got to find places for them to live. And so,
yes, we do.
Very.
A lot of our workforce does come off the mainland through shuttle buses, and that's not unusual at all. It was that way when I was a kid.
Oh, really? Okay.
Way back when the sand came out of the ocean, it seems like. But I mean, that's not unusual.
Okay.
We have a lot of workforce out of the mainland.
Okay.
They come in shuttle buses and stuff, and they're wonderful, wonderful workers.
Yep.
A lot has to do with culture and how you grew up and where you live, and they like the mainland. There's more to do. We don't have malls here, as you know. We don't have a lot of golf courses. We have a handful throughout the Keys.
Yep.
Exclusive of Ocean Reef, obviously, which has 3 championship courses. But after that, we've got a couple marathon and one in Key West, and that's about it. And a little one at Chica Lodge.
Well, I don't think.
If you're looking for malls and stuff, this is not the place to be. But if you're looking for a laid-back lifestyle, this is the place to
You are the man. You are the spokesman for the Florida Keys. You can help residential. You can help commercial. You've got a lot of properties that I know that you are selling right now. How can people contact you? How can people get on your website to look at these houses, the prices, and to, give you a call and get some more information?
Well, my contact is pretty easy. It's jim@mooringsrealty.com. Website is Jim Mooney, FloridaKeysRealtor.com. And my phone number is 305-522-3383. And I can be reached pretty much 24 hours a day via those contacts.
Well, unless there's no transmission from your boat.
Well, I do carry a phone on the boat, but I try to avoid picking it up if I'm fishing.
I hear you. I hear you. You don't want those fish hearing you. Those.
Well, I have to admit, I prefer not to be picking the phone up if I'm fishing, but I do from time to time.
I know you do, and I have appreciated our friendship throughout the years and our interaction and our sales together. Again, you are the man as far as the Florida Keys. One more time, give us your website.
Jim Mooney, FloridaKeysRealtor.com.
Perfect. Have a wonderful weekend, and again, I appreciate you giving me a call. And
Doug, thank you so much for letting me on your show. I always enjoy it, and I always talking to you. And let's get together next time you're down here. We always say that, but you're a busy man.
Oh boy, I just can't wait to get down there and spend some time with you.
Yeah. All right, Doug. Have a wonderful weekend, and say hello to everybody we know.
Okay, you take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Doug.
All right, that was Jim Mooney. He is at Moorings Realty, which is in the Florida Keys, Isla Mirada. As he said, it's about 80 miles from Miami, 80 miles from Key West. He's right in the middle, and because of that, he's able to know what's happening in both areas. So that's a good thing. He does residential and commercial. I know he had a big hotel that he was selling down there. I should have asked a little bit more about that. But again, he's the man to go to. Also, he talked a little bit about the challenges of developing down there, and he talked about TDRs, and those are really important because I remember selling some property and it was like we had some lots down near Key West that you could transfer those rights to a development that was actually 50 miles north of there. And it's a crazy thing, but if you want to do any developing down there, Jim Mooney is the man to talk to, and again, a great resource as far as the Florida Keys in Isla Mirada. Again, 80 miles from Key West, 80 miles from Miami. We're going to go for a break. We've got another great guest that will be coming on after the break. I appreciate everybody listening from wherever you are, Switzerland, California. Thank you so much for listening, folks, and hopefully you have a wonderful weekend and spend some time with your family. Take care.